Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the legislative meeting to order. We'll start with a Pledge of Allegiance that'll be led by Dr. Whiting. Dr. Whiting will also read the statement of acknowledgement in honor of indigenous and diverse communities.
Thank you, Madam President. We begin this meeting with acknowledgement of and honor for the many legacies that have impacted our community, particularly those buried over time. Acknowledging truth is critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. Cheltenham Township stands within the Lenape-Hokink, the ancestral homeland of the Lenni Lenape civilization. Their people were, and still are, caretakers of this land and its rivers, and their legacy continues. We pay respect to their elders, past and present. Our community owes its existence and vitality to generations from around the world who have contributed their hopes, dreams, and energy to making the history that led to this moment. Some were brought here against their will. Some were drawn to leave their distant homes in hope of a better life, and some have lived on this land for more generations than can be counted. Please take a moment to consider the many legacies of violence, displacement, migration, and settlement that bring us together. As a school district committed to fostering intellectual curiosity and discourse in service of social justice, join us in uncovering such truths.
Thank you, Dr. Whiting. Mr. Swigert will provide the roll call, the board roll call.
Ms. Blitzstein?
Present.
Mr. Riddell Williams?
Present.
Mr. Epps?
Present.
Ms. Henry?
Present.
Ms. Lohman?
Ms. Lohman is not present tonight.
Ms. Mulhern?
Present.
Ms. Murphy?
Present.
Mr. Schultz?
Present.
Dr. Whiting?
Present.
Next, we'll have public comments on agenda items only. If you are in the audience and you'd like to make a comment or on anything on the agenda, you can approach the podium, state your name and where you reside in the district. No hands online. We do have a public comment in the audience, auditorium.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Julie Reed.
I'm
Ms.
Donica Gibson Huggins. I am the parent of a Montgomery student, and this is my nurse.
And apparently there was a little bit of discrepancy of the situation, and I felt that I had a wrongdoing towards me with the Cheltenham Township, not this township school district, with a principal of a school that's in Cheltenham Township School District. And upon, I guess, oral communication to other schools or whatnot ever, which forced me to leave my client, which she didn't have care for because of I am not allowed in the school district, which I have no reason why. I have no documentation of why. And as I tried to get in a meeting with you, sir, superintendent, we were not successful. We were blocked. We were blocked. So this was the only way I could get your attention to address my situation, and I have documents that need to be delivered to you that you need to review, and I would like, after you review them, could we please have a meeting about my situation? I really don't want to take up too much of your guys' time, but there's only way I can meet with you, sir.
So, Mr. Kaufman, if you can grab those documents, once I've had that opportunity to review, I'll personally reach out. Do you have contact information as part of the documentation?
Yes, we can get. I can leave you all my contact information.
Yeah, that would be great as well.
I appreciate it very much, sir.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
And I can leave mine as well.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Kaufman, before I move on, are there any hands raised online? Thank you. Okay, next we will move to school recognition. Myers Elementary, Mr. Lytle will present.
Someone obviously was thinking about me this time. I appreciate that. Good evening, board members, Dr. Scriven, Assistant Superintendent Savage, and our Cheltenham community. I'm excited to highlight one of our many efforts this year around the pillar of diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm so proud of our students and staff for their collaborative planning, implementation, and just the deepening of our efforts to create meaningful opportunities for students of all ability levels to learn from one another and to remove the obstacles to the development of authentic relationships and interactions from which we truly all can benefit and become better from learning from one another. As we continue to grow our autistic support program, true inclusion has been one of our ongoing areas of growth and focus, and has been a delight to see in practice each and every day. As we work to equip students, teachers, and parents to remove the barriers that keep us from engaging with one another, we have all grown and benefited from the gifts and the talents of those in our beautifully diverse Myers community. I would like to salute Ms. Dottie Mazzullo, Ms. Rachel Slutsky, our AS paraprofessional team, and most importantly, Ms. Lauren Nesbitt, for their work in supporting teachers and students in including students with autism into the regular education classroom setting and in engaging with one another in meaningful ways. Not only has Ms. Nesbitt supported students and teachers, but she has led a series of 5 workshops for parents on a host of topics related to autism and supporting parents and making sure their children are included in various aspects of our community as a whole, with topics that included behavior, AAC devices, hygiene, speech at home, and trips to public places. This evening, I would like to highlight an event that took place at Myers on Autism Awareness Day. Under the leadership of Ms. Nesbitt and our AS team, we held an interactive school-wide event on Autism Day that was geared to teaching our entire student population more about autism and the ways that students can develop better relationships and friendships with their peers. This event was hugely successful at equipping students with the knowledge and the tools to embrace all of their peers and access the gifts that we all have within us to make one another better people. I have a little clip here that I would like to show, which captures the day.
Students in Montgomery County are getting an interactive lesson in understanding autism. Today, Myers Elementary School in Elkins Park hosted an Autism Acceptance event. It included interactive stations focused on communication and sensory needs. Administrators say the goal is to help students learn what it's like to live with autism so they can better communicate with their peers.
time. Here's why. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. The love is too high. Bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. I said, bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. The love is too high. Bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. I said, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happy.
So did you just drop the mic and sit down, Mr. Lytle?
And thank you for your time and attention, and we appreciate all of your support.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Scriven for the 25 years of recognition service.
Good evening, and thank you, Madam Chair. So there are certain traditions that run deep in Cheltenham School District. Recognizing our employees with 25 years of service is one of those traditions, and on that day, this evening, they will be receiving their initial or personalized pins as a symbolic tribute to that accomplishment. And I just put this together to put it in perspective. A personalized pin for 25 years of service represents far more than just a writing instrument. It is a symbol of commitment, legacy, and impact. For a quarter of a century, the recipients have poured time, effort, and heart into their profession. The pin engraved with their name becomes a reflection of that journey, a tool that has metaphorically chronicled countless notes signed off on milestones and helped script the story of an individual's professional life. This token is small in size, but immense in meaning. It speaks to the endurance of loyalty, the wisdom earned through experience, and the indelible mark left on an organization or a community. It honors not just time served, but the influence and leadership embodied throughout those years. A personalized pin also carries forward the idea that the story isn't over. Even after 25 years, there are still words to write, thoughts to share, and contributions to make. In this way, the pin becomes both a celebration of the past and an invitation to continue shaping the future. Ultimately, it is dignified and timeless expression of gratitude, one that says, your work has mattered, your dedication is seen, and your name belongs in the narrative of this institution's legacy. So we salute you on this evening. I would ask that Mr. Carter start with recognizing two individuals from our Department of Facilities.
Opportunity to recognize our individuals in our facilities department. I just have a brief few words on two individuals. I'd like to start off, ladies first, with Ms. Dawn. Ms. Dawn has been a dedicated administrative assistant in the Cheltenham School District for 25 years. She has worked. She is a wonderful, hardworking member of the school community, supporting students, staff, families every single day. She has been in the Cheltenham School District she started in the Cheltenham School District as an aide for the 8 years. In 2009, she transferred her current position into the administrative assistant, where she has served diligently for the last 17 years. Through her tenure, Ms. Dawn has been instrumental in fostering collaborating teamwork across the maintenance, grounds, security, custodial department. Her commitment to excellence has helped shape a positive and effective culture for the Cheltenham School District Facilities Department. Thank you.
Ms. Woods, could you come to the podium, please?
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
The next person I'd like to recognize is Mr. Christopher. I've worked with Chris for the past, excuse me. I've worked with Chris for the past few years. What I didn't know about Chris is at one point, for a couple of years, he's worked on the grounds team. From there, he's transferred over to a custodian for the last 18 years, where he has worked in the administration building, Elkins Park, and at the high school. In the past few years, I've worked with Chris and our facilities team. Chris has shown commitment, dedication, and always a team player, willing to do what is ever needed for our students, staff, and the Cheltenham community. Thank you.
Mr. Steele, could you come to the podium, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Carter.
Thank you, sir. Again, thank you to the board.
Next, we will have Mr. Lytle, representing Myers Elementary School.
Miss Geraldine Flynn Alston and Miss Constance Solomon. I'm going to start with Miss Flynn Alston, who is not here this evening, and then I'll see Miss Solomon. All right. I had to convince her to come all day long, but I'm so glad she came. All right. Miss Flynn Alston is, she is a vibe. If you've been around Miss Flynn Alston, you know exactly what I mean. She's full of energy, love, light, passion, authenticity, and I enjoy being around her and watching her engage with our children. I'm elated to be able to acknowledge her contributions over her 25-year tenure. I've had the honor of working with her for the 6 years that I have been here. She's someone that is a lover of life. She is a lover of children. She is authentic, almost to a fault, but it is one of her greatest attributes. Because it allows her to connect with the children and connect with all that she encounters in a way that shows she truly cares about them and who they are, not just in the school fashion, but who they are as people. Her greatest characteristic by far is her love of children. She goes above and beyond what I would even care to acknowledge as we consider things that happen in life. She always shows up for our children. She shows up always for our children, no matter how she feels, no matter what's going on, no matter what life may throw at her. She always comes to work and she advocates, she educates, she loves. our children each and every day. I can't speak more highly of her advocacy and her efforts for children over the past 6 years that I have known her. And if this is reflective of her efforts over a period of 25 years, she truly should be saluted. So with that, I would just like to honor Ms. Geraldine Flynn Alston and all of her efforts for our children and for the children of the Cheltenham School District. Ms. Solomon, could you join me, please? Ms. Solomon is an amazing person. She's an amazing educator. And I just wrote down some attributes of Ms. Solomon, and I'm honored to have this opportunity to highlight her and her years of service and to just mark some of her great characteristics and the attributes that she brings to our school and our children each and every day. Ms. Solomon is a professional. She carries herself in a professional way. She is professional for our children. She cares about her craft, and she brings that attitude of diligence and intentionality to work each and every day. She is an educator. When she pulls her groups and she pushes into the classroom, there is no doubt for a moment about the phenomenal instruction that is taking place with those children. It is full of belief in them. It is full of skill and pedagogy. It is full of collaboration, and the proof is in the pudding because the kids excel and they grow. And at Myers, we are all equally a part of our team, and I thank you for your contributions to our team effort to support our children. She's a valued staff member. Teachers are very possessive at times of their children. And when they relinquish ownership or supervision or instruction to someone, it speaks volumes. So you are a valued member by your peers and by the teaching staff for what you bring to our students, both from your heart and your academic knowledge and ability to teach them. So that is very, I wanted to acknowledge that. Computer shut off for a second, okay. I think one of the things that I personally appreciate most about you, is she smiling because you have no idea what I'm going to say, do you? Okay. No. I appreciate every school leader, I'll say this, at times needs to vent. And there are not many people that school leaders can vent to. There are certain things that are necessary to be a person that I can vent to. You have to know what I'm talking about. You have to have perspective. You have to have confidence. You have to have some integrity. And I appreciate the relationship that you and I have, your care for me, your checking on me, your letting me let the air out of the balloon so that I can give what's best and what's needed for our children. You not only do that for me, but you do that for everyone in our school. And I think that not only the way you carry yourself and what you contribute to our students, but the way that you help others contribute to our students is a phenomenal thing. And I appreciate you doing that over your 25 years and the 6 years that I've had to work with you. So we salute you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
And we have one last 25-year person that we need to recognize. And let me pull that up. It's one of our teachers from Cheltenham High School, Mrs. Mary Metzger. And Dr. Hammond was kind enough to send me this note. Good evening. I have the honor tonight of recognizing a remarkable member of our support staff who has reached the incredible milestone of 25 years of service. I emphasize support staff because far too often we overlook the profound and lasting impact they have on the lives of our students. When it comes to the day-to-day operations of our schools, our buildings would not survive without them. But more importantly, they too play a critical role in the growth and development of our students as they journey toward adulthood. Mary Metzger, paraprofessional. Mary Metzger has served Cheltenham students with heart and dedication for 25 years. She has worn many hats, working one-on-one with students, supporting classrooms, and even coaching unified cheerleading. She has made her mark at Cheltenham Elementary, Cedarbrook, and now at Cheltenham High School. Mary has also been a key contributor to our extended school year program, helping students grow and thrive beyond the regular school calendar. She's known for forming strong bonds with both students and their families, and she never hesitates to go the extra mile for her colleagues. She was a member of the original S4L teaching team at Cheltenham High School, and her passion for our students and her unwavering dedication to the program are major reasons why it continues to succeed today. And there's a fun fact: Mary never forgets a birthday. She's known for baking sweet treats to celebrate staff and students, a small gesture that makes a big impact. Mary, thank you for your 25 years of compassionate service and for the joy you bring to the Cheltenham High School community. And let's please keep her in our thoughts as she is battling some health concerns right now, which is the reason why she was not able to be here with us this evening. And that concludes our 25-year presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Scriven, and thank you to all of our staff members who were here, who have given such diligence and commitment to our school district and to our students. Next, we will have our Cheltenham High School Student Council report by Ms. Subeiru.
Good evening, school board members. My name is Emma Zubeiru. The Cheltenham Student Council met on Wednesday, April 10th. I will now read out the updates. Debate for president and vice president happened on May 2nd. Elections for president and vice president concluded on the 9th. Junior prom was held on Saturday, May 10th at Arcadia, and the spring blood drive was on May 1st. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Mr. Roos will provide the sunshine announcement.
There are no announcements to make.
Thank you, Mr. Roos. And Dr. Scriven will give us the superintendent report.
All right, good evening once again. I will try to be as brief as possible. What I've put together this evening for the board and for our larger community is just a high-level outline or overview of what will be presented during our legislative meeting on June 10th, when we will give our final presentation on the year 2 implementation of our strategic plan. But I wanted to give some pre-context during this meeting, so as a board and also as a community, you had an idea of what would be forthcoming. I'm going to make sure that I'm aligned. I am. So our mission and vision was part of our strategic planning, and I always like to highlight our vision: belong, engage, seek justice, and the part which specifically reference how we are preparing our students to act as champions of social justice. That is the essence of who we are as a district. As a result of the deep dive that we did 2 years ago, we identified 7 pillars, which would be the driving goals of our school district, and they are as referenced on the slide. I don't need to read that to any of you, but I will be highlighting each of those pillars just to give you a high-level context of what you will be receiving on June 10th board meeting. Next slide, please. So there's key performance measures that we are identifying, and what we have really tried to do as a district and as a central office is align our metrics to our future ready index standards. But even more so than that, there was a perception survey that just recently went out to the community as a large, which really assesses our families, our teachers, and our students, which will give us some qualitative data in terms of how are we doing as a district. When you talk about the outcomes that we'll be looking at in June, we're looking at the implementation of our district-wide communication plan, snippets of how we have attempted to be more intentional with transparency. I already spoke to that perception data. We'll give you a high-level overview of where we stand based on the perception of those stakeholders which we serve. And this work is going to be ongoing, but under the leadership of Dr. Savage, there will be an update in terms of how we are moving forward with the competencies under the portrait of a graduate. So, key performance measures as it relates to teaching and learning. We are trying to make sure that we have on our website resources for our parents where they are not in the dark, and I'll use Power School as an example, or the data warehouse that we use in terms of making data accessible for parents, where they can actually get a real-time snapshot on how their students is doing within the district, regardless of what grade potentially they're on. And we're doing work right now around the report card and what that will look like at the elementary level, because there's some upgrades that will be made over time with that. We are not quite there yet. We've had a mid-year presentation already. June will be the end of the year, but each one of our committee meetings, which we have, we also align work which is happening under each pillar of our strategic plan. Next slide, please. So when we talk about those measurable outcomes, we're working on really having a curriculum blueprint. That is something that as we're going through the curriculum cycle, we're trying to be very transparent with what are the resources that are accessible for our teachers that are ultimately being used to drive instruction with our students. We're continuing to develop the K-6 curriculum in EL and math under the leadership of Dr. Savage and her team. I'd be remiss not to include the whole team because we're not doing this work in isolation. We're looking at those high-quality instructional materials right now in terms of identifying what specific curriculum guides, pacing guides, and curricula that we want to use in terms of moving the instructional programs forward in our respective campuses. Board has approved a 6-year curriculum renewal cycle, which has been unpacked with them as a full board. We're working, and this is continuous work, and that's why it's called continuous improvement, around the common assessments and what standard-based, I just mentioned the report card at the elementary level. What will that look like? There's certain things we have to have in place before we can unpack that elementary report card, because when you talk about rubrics, when you talk about data points, we have to be very specific and clear with what they are. And some of our work over the years has really been breaking us out of silos and making sure that we're operating from a systemic lens. We've been giving updates around EPIC, which has been a program associated with the high school, not separate from the high school, that is going to continue to expand as we're really trying to meet the needs of some of our more vulnerable students. The team is working diligently with coming up with a data governance plan, and it's been unique cost savings that we've been able to find where we're actually unpacking what is some of the programs that we're paying for annually, but when you look at usage by either a teacher or student, it doesn't warrant or justify the potential monies that are being spent. So being very intentional and strategic around unpacking that and coming up with a fluid plan that actually becomes part of the culture of what we do. I had mentioned the various dashboards, pilot replacement resources in special ed, math, and ELA, piloting of K-4, ELA, and assessment dashboards for special ed, and providing PLN coaching for all new teachers in grades K through 1. Next slide, please. Social, emotional, and mental health has been a major component for us that has really been elevated post-COVID. I have to give a shout out to Ms. Keene and also to Dr. Catcherbone, who work hand in hand with one another. It was interesting. I was having this dialogue earlier with Mr. Burdell Williams around special education, some of the over-identification that was happening within the district, and how really implementing a more robust MTSS program has gone a long way with giving some guardrails rather than just over-identifying. We're being forced to look at our students in a tiered approach and being very strategic with what intervention students need prior to just recommending that they be tested for IEP. And then there's a pre and post survey for SEL programmatic initiatives that will be updated under this pillar. Additionally, when you look at outcomes, we are going to give you additional information that dives deeper into our MTSS structure. We're going to look at how we're using Linkit and other resources to make MTSS more user-friendly and effective from a technological standpoint, providing targeted support to students based on the areas of need. I want to break that down, looking at our PAYS data and providing training for BHWorks individual universal screener. These will all be updates you guys will receive under Pillar 3. Diversity, equity, belonging, and inclusion, we have not wavered. We are standing true to truly what makes us who we are as a district. Last board meeting, we had a group of our students come out and report some of their findings around the belonging survey. It was made extremely clear that we have student subgroups that do feel marginalized and that we have to be very intentional around how we are meeting the needs of all students. We use surveys, we use discipline data, we use multiple measures to really try to assess how we are doing with progress towards targeted goals that are set in this plan. Next slide, please. You'll be getting updates around the work with the Cultural Proficiency Framework. Dr. Savage has teachers in every school which are cultural proficient champions. They meet monthly, and then there are marching orders that those individuals have that then go back to kind of like a teacher-to-teacher model to make sure that the expectations are being communicated in our respective schools. Dr. Catcherbone has done a good job, and you guys have been part of the sessions where we've looked at the special education framework. There will be updates around that. And the Ed Office will give updates around curriculum and complementary resources, as I alluded to earlier. You're going to see that. None of these pillars operate in isolation. There's intersectionality, and that's why you will see overlap as we're looking at the different pillars, because the work goes across each and every pillar. Next slide, please. Very good. Thank you, man. Pillar 5, climate and culture for students. This is a big area. I'm going to be very transparent. One thing, and I just want to put it out there, that we are going to be looking at the high school, which I know for my high school parents will be a little bit of a struggle. But we are going to have to look at our current high school schedule and really how we want lunch and learn or community lunch to look. It is not meeting the needs of all students as intended to do. And as superintendent, I'm going to be very honest, we do not have the adult manpower to have an entire school out at lunch at the same time. We've had some incidents that have brought me grave concern, and subsequently, we're not looking at eliminating an entirety, but we're really looking at how can we change the model to make sure that it is a safer model and a more efficient model established to meet the instructional needs of those students specifically that are failing or have D's in certain classes. So I'm just going to use that as a caveat to really unpack this whole piece around climate and culture, and we will be looking at data across the board. You can go to the next slide, Pillar 6, which is communications. Shout out to Mr. Kaufman, who I feel does a good job trying to be proactive with our communication. When things happen in the district, we don't just send it to any particular isolated building. We do send it out district-wide because it's important that everybody understands what is happening in our district as a whole. He has changed the website. You'll get some updates there. And there's other initiatives that he's working on that will be shared. And then last but not least, under Mr. Swigert, there's a plethora of information under some of these moves with infrastructure, facilities, and finance. We have a special board meeting that will be happening on May 27th, where the board will be voting on Elkins Park. We have projects that are happening at the high school in terms of our stadium project. We have projects associated to Elkins Park at both Cedarbrook and Glenside Elementary. We are moving forward. I am proud that words are not just words and are transferred into action. You will be able to see that manifested when we come together as a group in June. And that brings closure to my report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Scriven. We will move into our committee reports, and I am providing the financial affairs update. So the Finance Committee meeting was held on Tuesday, May 6th, and the following agenda topics were discussed. The interim financial review. The business director, Mr. Josh Schweiger, presented an unaudited interim financial statement through April 30th, 2025, which revealed a structural surplus. Historical local revenue collection overview was provided, and the overview showed the revenue trends from local sources shared to provide historical context for the current projections. There's also a proposed final budget for fiscal year 2025-2026. The proposed budget of $140 million includes a 3% real estate tax increase, which is below the Act 1 index and second lowest in the county, to address rising costs and pressures from inflation. The budget will be available for public inspection for 20 days, and it is currently advertised on our website. The anticipated board approval is for June 10th. Traffic calming measures were recommended by the administration for the approval of an amount not to exceed $61,000 for proposed safety improvements near schools in the immediate vicinity of Glenside Elementary, Myers Elementary, Wyncote Elementary, and Cheltenham Elementary. Traffic calming measures will include speed cushions, signage, pavement markings, and raised crosswalks. This will be funded through bus patrol program revenue in coordination with the township. The items listed on the consent agenda for approval tonight is the posting of the proposed final budget for public inspection, advertisement of the final budget prior to the June 10th board vote, approval of traffic calming project scope and funding approach, and authorization of continued partnership with bus patrol and the township. The full presentation can be found on the district's website by clicking on the presentation tab on the home page. Next month, hybrid meeting will be held on Tuesday, June 3rd, and that concludes my report. Educational Affairs Committee update will be provided by Dr. Whiting.
Thank you, Madam President. The Educational Affairs Committee met on April 22nd, 2025 at 7 p.m. in a hybrid format in the Administration Building and via Zoom. First, I want to give a special recognition to the teachers and students who gave up their time at 6 p.m. on the evening of the 22nd to share their work from gifted education, STEM, and project-based learning classrooms. I am incredibly grateful to you for taking the time to share that engaging and critical work that you are doing in your classrooms and across our schools. Shout out to the Department of Innovation here at the district for organizing that event. Thank you. The Educational Affairs Committee meeting focused on the implementation of science, technology, and engineering, environmental literacy, and sustainability standards known as Steele's standards and curriculum throughout the district. The meeting was led by Dr. Brian Riley, Ms. Katie Ferrero, Ms. Rachel Gurman, who reviewed the reasoning behind the shift to Steele's, next steps for K-5 implementation and alignment of standards to existing curriculum, and a focus on the use of high-quality instructional materials across Steele's curricula. The team reported that the shift to Steele's standards represents an educational shift away from the idea of learning about science and scientific content to the development of inquiry-based skills to engage in science as a practice. The framework for Steele standards implementation includes activities that follow the 5 E's: engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. Dr. Riley also presented on a planned shift in elementary schools to include STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, as a 5th special class in addition to library, physical education, art, and music, and the reorganization of gifted education teachers to be distributed across the 4 elementary schools. The next Educational Affairs meeting will be on Wednesday, May 21st at 7 p.m. in a hybrid format here at the Administration Building and via Zoom. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Whiting. The Eastern Center for Arts and Technology report will be provided by Mr. Burdell Williams. I elevated you.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. The Eastern Center for Arts and Technology Joint Operating Committee's April meeting started with our customary acknowledgement of the April Student of the Month. The April Student of the Month was a Grayson Stewart, who is an Abington Senior High School senior and was recognized for his outstanding work in Eastern's design, photography, and illustration program. At Abington High, Grayson is an active member of National Honor Society, Boys Lacrosse Team, and Alternative Sports Club. Outside of school, he works part-time at a Be Well Bakery and Cafe in Huntington Valley, where he works as a server, food preparer, smoothie preparer, and kitchen assistant. He also volunteers and is a certified American Red Cross lifeguard. After graduating from Eastern, the plan for Grayson is to commit his time to Susquehanna University, where he will pursue a degree in graphic design and play lacrosse. After the approval of the revised school calendar, retirements, donations, training supervisors for approved internship placements, as well as new substitute instructors who were also included in that item. The Joint Operating Committee also accepted a supplemental equipment grant of $178,486.44, which is earmarked to be used to purchase equipment for the upcoming culinary arts renovation and as well as for additional equipment for the allied health program. After we approved those items, there was an informational item shared with us related to the Skills USA state competition. So 42 students from Eastern attended the Skills USA state competition in Hershey, which was held April 2nd through April 4th. Students from all over Pennsylvania took part in the competition, and just for awareness of the community and the board and administration, Skills USA is a national student leadership organization that encourages students to be productive individuals in our democratic society, work to their potential, become responsible, be proud of their accomplishments, and be supportive of their community. Drum roll for the medalists from Eastern, starting with the first place gold medal winner from the Design, Photography, and Illustration program, a Cheltenham High School student, Tobias Wendell. Also, there we go, thank you, yep. Also medaling from Cheltenham School District, there's a second place silver medal for Kafra Anika from the Chapter of Excellence. She's also in the Welding Technology program. There was Jesslyn Apong for the Chapter of Excellence in the Allied Health program. Jacob Lamb from the Internetworking event, also Cheltenham, but from the Networking and Cybersecurity program at Eastern. Long list. And now, the third place bronze medal winners. I will read them all, and then we can provide one singular applause. Mr. Vergemar Ruiz for the Career Pathways Showcase in Health Sciences. Makina Ferriston, Career Pathways Showcase in Health Sciences. Yep. Dahlia Madden from the Health Occupations Portfolio, who is also in the Allied Health program at Eastern. So that concluded the actual activities of the Joint Operating Committee for that evening. I do want to also just reflect that 2 weeks ago, on April 30th, the Eastern inducted 10 new members to the National Technical Honor Society, so folks may have seen that marketed on Facebook or other social media platforms. These particular students earn their place in the NTHS through demonstrated performance and technical skill development within their career and technical education programs. Of the 10 inductees, 3 are Cheltenham High School students. I will read their names and we can provide a collective round of applause. Nia Bonaparte, Jesslyn Uphong, and Sarah Rand. For the students who medaled in the Skills USA competition, as well as those who were presented in the National Technical Honor Society, congratulations for your achievements. And that concludes my report. The next meeting for the Eastern Center for Arts and Technology Joint Operating Committee is tomorrow, May 14th at 8 p.m. at Eastern's facility on Turwood Road in Upper Moreland. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perdell Williams. The Montgomery County Intermediate Unit report will be provided by Dan Schultz this evening.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm reading from an email, so please forgive any name mispronunciations or acronyms which I will not be able to define. The MCIU board met on April 23rd, and these are some of the highlights. Dr. Gaffney and Mr. Langer provided an update on the data-driven communications strategy focused on meaningful content and intentional storytelling that authentically models MCIU's mission, vision, and values. Solicitor Jeff Sultanic discussed the findings of the budget adoption for the school year 2025-26 and shared executive orders. Dr. Speaker noted several items, including Ms. Garber receiving the 2025 AOH scholarship, 4 students that are hearing impaired that competed in a national math competition and coming in second place, Dr. Webb bringing opportunities in which 2 teachers will be going to China for 2 weeks to teach, Head Start funding was also discussed, as well as everything the MCIU is doing to keep the funding for these programs. There was board discussion on the first read policies, and specifically Policy 818, having revised language added. These policies are not being voted on and will be available for viewing prior to the vote in May. The board approved the Office of Innovation and Strategic Partnerships, approved the annual STEM in PA and computer science booklet. The board approved an MOU with Perkiomen Valley, Validate Me Transcription Evaluation Service, as well as other contracts to provide professional development for Pottsgrove, Springford, ASD, Pottstown, Bethacton, Hatboro Horsham, and Wissahickon, to name a few. Pattan, Patan, thank you. It was like the A is a lowercase. I wasn't sure what they were doing there. Entered a general consultation contract to provide childcare at the Family Learning Conference, as well as the PA Department of Educational Annual Conference. Service agreements with Abington, Cheltenham, and Colonial were approved for services such as MDE, psychological evaluations, and mental health professionals, and several support contracts were approved for various technology services for Upper Dublin, Colonial, and Level Data Services for 9 school districts. For more details on the meeting, you can refer to the agenda, and note that all items on the agenda were approved with the exception of the first reading policies. The next meeting will be held Wednesday, May 21st, 2025, and that concludes this report.
Thank you, Mr. Schultz. Ms. Mulhern will provide the Facilities Committee update.
Thank you, Ms. Henry. The Facilities Committee met on Tuesday, May 6th, 2025 at 7 p.m. with Co-Chair Mia Blitzstein chairing the meeting. After approval of the minutes, we moved on to our agenda presented by Interim Director of Facilities, Mr. Anthony Carter, along with our Business Manager, Joshua Swigert. A number of items have been repaired in the last month, including a steam pipe repair at the Administration Building, fire pump replacement project at Myers Elementary, both water heater replacement and cooling tower repairs at Glenside Elementary, and at Cheltenham High School there was a sewer line repair. All of those repairs represent both recognizing a need in the moment and addressing it, as well as a little bit of preventative maintenance, looking at the lifespan of certain items and getting ahead before they do break. Additionally, the Facilities Department supported a tree dedication ceremony from the class of 1970 at Wincott Elementary School. The next meeting will be Tuesday, June 3rd at 7 p.m., both in person in the Administration Building and via Zoom. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Ms. Mulhern, you are up again for the liaison group report.
Yes, ma'am. The liaison group did not meet this last month, and at this point we do not have our next meeting scheduled, but it will be shared when we do. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Epps, you're providing Policy Committee and then followed by the Legislative meeting.
Yes. Thank you, Madam President. As co-chair of the Policy Committee, I'll report that our next meeting is actually May 21st, next week. I believe it is a joint meeting with the Hybrid Educational Affairs. And so I will note there, I think you heard a little earlier, there are second read policies that are on tonight's agenda that we're not taking action on. I would encourage folks to come out and attend our Policy Committee meetings. We've had a great streak of community engagement on things from our volunteer policy to our upcoming AI policy and other things. So please do, if you're wondering what are the rules of the district and how they are made, it all happens on our exciting Tuesday night Policy Committee meeting. So you can tune in via Zoom or come out in person at the Administrative Building on May 21st. That concludes the which is a Wednesday, yes, which is a Wednesday. Next week, special time, but typically on Tuesdays. Thanks. Mr. Schultz, well, that concludes our report. For policy. And next will be Legislative Committee. You already announced that one. So yes, as also a member of the Montgomery County Legislative Committee for school board members, we do meet periodically about every month to talk about what's going on in the federal level, state level, but all things that impact our district. The past meeting was joined by a member of our federal senator, John Fetterman's office, and something to note from that conversation is In DC, there seems to be, at least right now, growing interest in talking about fully funding the Individuals with Disability Education Act. And so full funding actually means the federal government would fund up to 40% of all special education costs. Right now, that is not being funded fully up to the 40%. The federal government funds up to, I think, somewhere around 10% of funding. And so that is a conversation that needs to, that is going to require some advocacy to ensure that it stays on the radar. It's been around for quite some time. And so it's something that is going to need to be followed. But the Senator's office has introduced legislation to enact full funding for IDEA. So something to note. That is something we talk about here at Cheltenham in very different ways, and something we want to ensure that we have the resources to meet the needs of our student, no matter what those needs are. So that's something to track from the federal level. From the state level, we're going to hear tonight about our budget, but that is the talk of the town in Harrisburg. Is going to be what the final negotiated numbers will be. Unfortunately, it is not as public as it can be. Other commonwealths and other states have more public budget processes than we, and so there are some steps that Pennsylvania can take, but most of the negotiations take place behind closed doors between the governor and the legislator. So we will await, but we do have an administration team that is daily looking into financial prospects, into what is the latest and greatest, the rumor mill of negotiations. So we definitely credit our administration for doing their due diligence there. I will also report the school district had a very strong contingent at the legislative breakfast a couple of weeks ago. That included our school board members, our superintendent, and also students. It was the most exciting thing to have students in the room, and so they didn't waste their time either. They were talking to the Matt Bradford, who's the majority leader in the House of Representatives, asking for internships, giving some advice on issues, and so that's what it's actually about, right? We advocate every day, but being able to have students talking to advocating for themselves is really our mission, right? Belonging, engaging, and seeking justice. That's our mission living. And so I appreciate admin for organizing that, and do appreciate the spirit of the students that showed up. And also from Abington, they had students who were there, not as students, they were there as non-voting school board members. And so we do have a superintendent who's very keen and knows about that process as well. So we know that's something in Montgomery County. Cheltenham doesn't like to be left out, so we know we'll probably be having some conversations about that over the next few years as well, as we have students in the room. And so that is some of the happenings, and over the next few weeks and months, again, I think what we're voting tonight, right, on the school district's budget, but ultimately continuing to track what's happening in Harrisburg, and ultimately advocating as well for the priorities of our district and similar districts throughout the Commonwealth. So that concludes my report for tonight, and we do have another meeting on June 4th for the legislative committee.
Thank you, Mr. Epps. So we'll move to the approval of agenda items. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Burdell Williams was first, and Ms. Mulhern was second. I would like to open the floor up to board comments. Mr. Epps?
Those reports, but I waited for a second. But I wanted to, again, make further comments on tonight's budget that we are approving. It is a final proposed budget, and so this is, again, the best effort that we have today. And so what it does do, I'm really proud of the fact that we can even hear about tonight how the district is funding ways to use data to identify student needs and assess progress. And we're already doing that, right? And EPIC is a really great way of identifying. There were numbers that were analyzed, there were stories that were behind those numbers, and there was a huge effort put together to create a program to meet student need, and we're actually seeing a transformational difference in the lives of students and families through the EPIC programming. And so that is a strong example. We've heard from principals around behaviors and references to the principal's office, and we've seen culture and climate data. And so we're funding the methods and how to learn about the methods to use data to both numbers and stories. Something else it does, if folks who are listening, you can come to the administration building right now in the hallway and look at instructional materials that we want to purchase. And so that is so serious, because we have such a limited amount that we can actually put towards instructional materials. And so it's so important that we get that right. And so parents, community members, literally in the hallway right now are instructional materials that you can come and review. But this budget funds acquiring high quality instructional materials, not just materials, but high quality instructional materials for our children. And then it also invests in developing our teachers and administrators. Again, we talked about how they're using data, but the professional learning networks around intercultural development and expectations of students, because we heard earlier this year, teacher expectations is one of the highest or one of the most important determining factors in success. Does your teacher believe in you? And so we know that this budget invests in developing teachers' capacity to simply believe in the students that they care for. And so those are three things that it does, and I'm going to wrap this up. But what does it not do? This budget does not ignore reality, right? It does have somewhere around a $1.8 million projected surplus. And so some folks might be wondering, there's extra money at the end of the year, but we still need to raise taxes. We know exactly why, right? And so we do not ignore reality at this district, understanding that our dollars, again, go toward ensuring that students belong, engage, and seek justice, and our teachers and administrators are prepared to support them to do that. And so reality, a part of this, that surplus, one event could change that reality for us. And so we are in a position where, yes, we may have an annual surplus, but we are still in a position where we need to raise taxes to keep up with the pace of increasing costs. And so that could be a complex idea to wrap our heads around as a community, but it's definitely needed, and I support that because of what we've heard from our administration. And so lastly, what it does not include is adequate state funding. It does include modest increases based on last year, but we cannot put in a budget what we do not know. And so part of this is an advocacy moment because, again, our administration does their due diligence, but the state has to let us know earlier. Please, if anyone's listening, we'll reach out and ask again. They've got to make their decisions earlier so that we can know whether or not we need to raise taxes or not. We can actually have a more accurate understanding of our finances if we can make our choices second. And so that's an ongoing conversation that we don't have much control over, but we can certainly advocate for. So I'm going to stop there because we don't give community members as much time as I've been taking up tonight. So I'm going to stop there, but definitely, again, appreciate the due diligence of the administration and come to the financial affairs meetings because we hear a lot more details about, yes, 3% is 3%, $140 million, this, that, but we get it broken down in very simple ways in our monthly finance committee meeting. So another nod to come on out at our exciting time on Tuesdays.
Thank you, Mr. Epps. I'd like to acknowledge the reappointment of our solicitor, Whistler Pearlstein, and just express my gratitude for the support that your firm, the Whistler Pearlstein firm, provides to the district. So.
Thank you very much. It's humbling.
Mr. Schultz.
Thank you. I think I get 3 minutes separately, right? So I just wanted to make a comment about the budget as well. So clarifying comment is that this is the final proposed budget. This is not passage of the budget. This is approval to advertise our current best shot at what we're thinking as a district the budget is likely to be. And then the real vote will be next month. Mr. Epps mentioned 3%, so it's not necessarily broken out in this number, but the current budget is projected to have a 3% increase in expenditures. And I wanted to offer one other point of clarity, because plus one to just about everything Mr. Epps said, but a point of clarity around the surplus. This budget itself does not have a budgeted surplus, but rather we are anticipating a surplus based on current expenses for this year. And so that's the key here is it's not that the tax increase would mean we are anticipating more money next year than we need. It's actually exactly how much money we need. It's just, thankfully, it's only 3% instead of Act 1 index because we currently have a little bit of flexibility, so it's not as large of a jump. That being said, I as one member of the board, I do appreciate that any tax increase is a burden on many of our community members. And I want to assure the public that we are working very, very hard to be efficient, be effective, and also provide our kids with what they need. And so I think that is reflected in this budget. The other thing I wanted to mention, picking up the inspiration of an advocacy moment, is this budget includes a lot of money that goes to cyber charter schools. And so one of the things that we can do to help Cheltenham, our taxpayers and our district, is reach out to state representatives and state senators, not just our own, but others as well, to explain how important it is to keep cyber charter costs under control. If the current discussion that's happening in Harrisburg, if it moved forward to cap cyber charter costs, that would benefit our community to the tune of $2 million a year, which is in itself approximately a 2% tax increase, which we wouldn't have to do. So please keep that in mind. Look up numbers on who to call or who to email. And thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schultz. Mr. Burdell-Williams?
Yep. First, to second what I just heard from my colleagues, and additionally to just underscore the advocacy related to the capping or the potential passage of capping on cyber charter schools, their impact across school, the financial impact across school districts across Pennsylvania is egregious, and there has not been a moment in time where there has been an opportunity like the one that we have right now with our state legislators. And please take the opportunity. We know those state legislators from our area. They're very visible. They're very present. And to Mr. Schultz's point, those who exist outside of our district but are inside of our Commonwealth also have a duty to serve the citizens of the state. And as long as you exist in that capacity, I think it is your opportunity to advocate for things that will not only help yourself but for help your neighbors, regardless of where they live. The second point I just wanted to make is acknowledgement of all of the volunteers on this month's agenda. Looking forward to passing and voting to bring those folks on board. Appreciate everything that everyone does to go through the volunteer clearances. As someone who relocated here from another state, it can be a bear going and doing all of the individual tasks that are required to get there, but also taking time out of your day to come and support the educational experience of the students and your neighbors is also appreciated on my part as well. So thank you to those folks. Thank you for your volunteerism.
Thank you, Mr. Burdell-Williams. Ms. Blitzstein?
Thank you. I also wanted to recognize the lengthy volunteer list. Thank you. You beat me to it. And I really appreciate what people go through to be volunteers and to dedicate their time to our schools and our kids. And I also wanted to acknowledge the traffic calming measures and just say, please be aware when you are driving around any of our schools that they are indeed school zones and that children can be unpredictable and are close by. So as these traffic calming measures are coming, but we can all do a better job of slowing down around our schools and making it clear to others who are visiting our community that that's important to us, that we keep our kids safe. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Blitzstein. Dr. Whiting?
Thank you. Two brief things. One related to logistics in our calendar. There is in this consent agenda the approval of a flexible instruction day plan. That is a big lift to get that submitted, and so thank you to the administration for working on that. We are now going to be able to, next year and over the next couple of years, be able to use up to 5 flexible instruction days for digital instruction should there be inclement weather or other challenges related to that. More immediately, there is a calendar change in this that I wanted to highlight. The last day of school, June 16th, and this consent agenda will now be a half-day. Tell your friends. Thank you.
Ms. Mulhern?
Yes, very quick. One to pretty much everything all of my colleagues said, especially around advocacy and charter schools and funding. But the only thing that I really wanted to highlight additionally is to piggyback on Ms. Blitzstein's comment about the traffic calming measures, is just to acknowledge that that was, this comes out of work in collaboration with the township. So I want to just recognize our commissioners, especially Commissioner Brockington, and members of the township administration who worked with our administration to work together on a project that helps our students, keeps us all safer. So thank you.
All right, now we will take the vote. All in favor say aye.
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 Any
Aye.
opposed? The consent agenda passes. Thank you all. Next, we will move to the public comment section of the evening. And so if you are here in the auditorium and you have a comment, please approach the podium, state your name and where you reside in the district. If you are online, raise your hand and you will be unmuted.
Okay, thank you. My name is Tara Knox. I reside in Elkins Park. I am here tonight to speak as a concerned parent of a high school student. With this past school year, I would like to say how disappointed I am as a parent of a junior, rising senior, with the things that have occurred from the start of the school year up until this point. One of the biggest things that we touched on in this meeting was community lunch. I was never a fan of it. I find it to be a big safety risk and chaos. I've had the displeasure of visiting the school for other reasons during community lunch, and I have not at all appreciated what I've witnessed when I've walked into that school. On another level of safety, I saw that we had a posting discussing vaping and talks with children. I know for a fact that we had 4 young men on the football team overdose because of vaping this past school year. The new sprinkler fire alarm system that was put in place that does not detect vaping in the bathrooms, the solution to that is to basically lock bathrooms. So I can't tell you how many times my son has complained that, Mom, I have a hard time finding an open bathroom because most of them are locked. So that seems to be our solution to vaping in the high school, amongst many other things. To add insult to that, we're going to now get to what recently happened. As you all know, I'm a football parent. We all know that. I'm always here talking about the football team, as well as the track parent, but the football team. We recently lost our coach, which we can't discuss the details of why he was let go, even though we all know why he was let go. My issue is not that the coach was let go, it's the reasons why, the timing, and that there was no cognizant plan in place to support these young men. We have a few outgoing seniors that lost a few recruiting options because of this. My son, as well as 30 rising seniors, a few juniors and sophomores, missed a total of 4 recruitment visits because of this, because no one was in place to confirm that they were still going to be attending these recruit visits. And what really stings me is that anytime I want to bring up an issue about the football team, what's thrown back to us is, oh, student athletes, we're focusing on grades. We as parents know we're focusing on grades. They're student athletes. But these are student athletes that are trying to achieve higher education while also playing a sport that they love. And for some of them, this is their only option. So for them to have missed 4 visits because someone couldn't do their due diligence in this firing process to make sure that someone was there to take this over is inexcusable to me. There's no apology to me that's suffice for that. That's inexcusable. On top of that, we now have a coach that's been hired that wasn't even interviewed. And the excuse we were given was that he's a CEA contract member because he's a teacher in the school, and that he didn't have to be interviewed, which I find to be very interesting. I've spent my time scouring through that 40 or so page CEA contract document. What I cannot understand is that at one point we've had at least 3 attorneys sitting on this board. I don't know how many we have now. I know of at least 1, but at one point we had 3. So I don't understand how it could be allowed or looked over to have such open-ended language in a contract that would allow for a person to be hired without being interviewed. That is absolutely ridiculous to me. I know that this contract was recently renewed as of December of 2024. So at some point, someone had to review that. I'm not sure what the main focus was, but I know as of right now, what was looked over is directly affecting myself and my son. And I find it to be highly inexcusable. What I know for a fact as a parent is that our new principal, Dr. Hammond, has a family member, J.O., also known as Mr. Joe Van Rogers, who used to work for Cheltenham, was an assistant AD. Before he left a 50-page document complaining about our former coach. He also coached with the current coach, Mr. Tolbert, that's in place, that was also let go from Abington. When Dr. Hammond was confirmed, our coach was let go. We asked to meet with him. The students asked to meet with him to discuss our concerns as to why we felt this man was not appropriate or qualified to be our head coach. The students started a petition. The parents voiced their concerns, all of which seemed to be ignored. When we were asked, why can we not go through a fair interview process, we were told that because of this CEA contract, that could not happen, and that Mr. Tolbert would have to withdraw himself for that to happen. We had a meeting on April 22nd, where I directly asked Mr. Tolbert to withdraw himself. He was not permitted to answer that question. I would like to know why he couldn't answer the question, but he was not permitted to answer my question. So here we are, moving forward. The timing of this gives the students and parents limited time to make a decision on what they're going to do going forward. The consideration that was given to the girls' softball team, the baseball team.
Excuse me, ma'am. I'm sorry to interrupt you. You've exceeded your 5 minutes.
Okay, no problem.
You're free to follow up with Dr. Scriven.
No problem. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Who's to go next?
Hello, can everyone hear me? I'll just ask for forgiveness already. I had a torn retina, but because I am a parent and I am a concerned community member for over 15, 16 years, to kids that were in the district. One is,
So state your name. And
my
where you
name is
reside.
Dana Burnley. I live in Cheltenham Township. I live down the street from Cheltenham Elementary. My oldest went from Cheltenham High. Now he's at Abington, Penn State Abington. My son, who is a rising senior, is also a football player, but he's a student first, and he's a pretty solid student. My son, in particular, his name is Elijah Burnley, 11th grade. Currently, Elijah is trying to make decisions on his next steps. I'm just going to use him as an example, not because I'm his mother, but I'm going to use him as an example. Currently, he has 7 post-education, after high school, full scholarship offers to Division I schools. He has missed out. He has missed out on additional things. Now, you may say, oh, Miss Burnley, that's greedy. No. The way the game is played, I'm going to educate everyone here, if they're not a sports parent, that is, their kids wants to go further, there is something called a transfer portal. And the transfer portal pushes all high school students out of here, and they have to go to D2 schools and D3 schools, go to the military or what have you. So that is what's happening constantly. Currently, the portal is open, so we are getting visits, but those visits are leading to nothingness. We had the coach that was let go of, and we can't take that back, right? We asked for our children to have a solid leadership of football coaches, not because they just want to be a coach and oversee. Right now, they're very confused, and my child is one of the confused ones. And it's so much as this morning when he was very confused, sitting in an office waiting for a coach from the University of Rochester. The current coach is sitting there, nothing. My son is texting me, Mom, what do I do? Keep calm. If I need to come up, I'll come up. Just wait till the coach comes. Text the coach from the college. Because of the incompetence and the just not caring, it gives, you don't care. And I'm not pointing out you guys, but it gives that nobody cares about 120 kids. 120. And that's freshman, sophomore, senior. Please keep this in consideration when you make selections for coaches, not because you shake a hand at a bar somewhere. And I'm sorry I'm saying this, but I'm a highly educated woman, but I'm really tired of it. This is my child's future. And yes, he would like to major in cybersecurity. He has AP courses. He does very well. He has a great grade point average. But this is what he wants. And as a parent and as a community, I expect you guys and me as a parent to support him. I'm holding everyone accountable. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Thank you.
Mr. Kaufman, are there any hands online? Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Sorry. My name is Shawan Cowens. I reside in Elkins Park. I'm the parent of a senior and currently a rising junior at the high school. Again, I'm speaking as a concerned parent, just from things that I've observed with the football program. My son is a football player. He is very proud to be a football player. He works very hard academically as well. He too has missed out on several visits due to the recent firing of our coach. What concerns me most is the fact that there was no plan in place for our young men. For some of these young men, this is what they have. This is a means for them to get to another level, to go to college, to get an education, also to play a sport they love, as Ms. Knox stated earlier. Something that was with the football players, with them feeling so strongly about their coach, and the fact that there was no input from them or the parents. I understand that Students and parents don't make decisions on coaching. However, I am aware that for several positions that were hired for coaching positions, there were parents on the panel who were allowed to interview coaches coming in. They're allowed to sit in, they're allowed to listen, provide their input. They may not have made a decision, but they were allowed to be there. We did not get that same luxury. Also, the young men on our team put together a petition. We know there was a petition to bring back community lunch. That was acknowledged. Community lunch came back. There was a petition started by the football players requesting a fair interview process, and that process was ignored. The petition was finally taken down. It was never addressed. We brought it up at our parent meeting. We were told we heard nothing about it, and it was completely dismissed. It's unfortunate that our young men who feel so strongly about a sport and their school that they love, that they feel as they're being ignored. They feel as though people don't consider their feelings. We take pride in looking at mental health. However, some of these men were very strongly affected by it. They were upset. They were outraged. They acted out. They were tearful as they were trying to talk to administration about how they felt. And again, these feelings were ignored. As parents, we don't understand how a coach can just be put in place without a fair interview process. That was not done. So again, as Mrs. Burnley said, it's a hope that when you're selecting other coaches in the future, please take them into consideration. Make sure you have that contingency plan in place because you're affecting these young men and possibly young women too playing other sports. Sorry. Something else I wanted to bring up is the fact that, oops, sorry, just looking at my notes here. So in the spirit of transparency and self-reporting, we have on record there are several parents that had multiple students with more than one F during spring sports. Previously, there were reports that were given out, academic reports, eligibility reports for students who were failing and not allowed to play. That has not been done since our new AD has been in place. There's been documented proof of students with Fs that are still playing sports. This will call for wins to be forfeited and for championships to be forfeited as well as the athletic programs being placed on probation. So that's something to keep in mind also. These are student athletes. We want them to exceed. However, they should still be monitoring their grades. And we'd like the eligibility reports to return. Thank you.
Thank you all. All right. Our future meetings are as listed on the agenda. I will call for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved, Ross Whiting.
Second, Mia Blitzstein.
All in favor?
Aye.
The meeting is adjourned.